Yo guys, today I'm playing Brawl Stars as EMZ, and I'm going to try to survive as many maps as possible without completely losing my mind. But while I'm doing that, I need to tell you about one of the most ridiculous stories I've seen on the internet this week. So apparently this guy posted online because his roommate accidentally exposed himself as a complete psychopath over leftovers. And listen, at first I thought this would just be some normal roommate argument. Nope. This story escalated so fast it genuinely sounds fake. So the guy says he lives with two roommates in a pretty small apartment. Everything was normal for months. They weren't best friends or anything, but they got along. Paid rent on time, shared food sometimes, watched movies together occasionally. Completely normal setup. But one of the roommates, we'll call him Jason, apparently had one strange habit. This dude was obsessed with labeling food. Like, terrifyingly obsessed. Every single thing in the fridge had labels on it. Milk, juice, eggs, sauces. Bro labeled a bottle of water once, and if somebody touched his food by accident, he would immediately send paragraphs in the group chat. Not messages. Paragraphs. Like, please respect personal boundaries and shared living agreements. Sir, someone ate one grape. Relax. Anyway, eventually everybody just accepted that Jason was weird and moved on. But then one night everything changed because of leftover pasta. Yes, pasta. So the guy telling the story comes home late from work, absolutely exhausted, opens the fridge, and sees a container of pasta sitting there with no label on it. Important detail, no label. Now apparently in this apartment, unlabeled food usually meant anybody can eat it. So this man heats up the pasta, eats the whole thing, and goes to sleep peacefully. Big mistake. Because at like 2 a.m., he wakes up to somebody banging on his bedroom door like the FBI. Boom, boom, boom. And outside the door, he hears, "Where is my pasta?" Bro, what? Imagine waking up in the middle of the night to pasta rage. So he opens the door half asleep, and Jason is standing there looking genuinely devastated. Not angry. Devastated. Like this man looked betrayed emotionally. And apparently before the guy can even speak, Jason says, "You ate it, didn't you?" Now, personally, at this point, I'm already terrified. Because why are you acting like I destroyed your family bloodline over noodles? So the guy explains, "Bro, there wasn't a label on it. I thought it was free food." And for a few seconds, Jason just stands there silently. Then he says, "That pasta was meal prep for the entire week." Biro, then label it. Why are we acting mysterious with spaghetti? But instead of being normal about it, Jason completely loses his mind. Apparently he starts pacing around the apartment talking to himself. Then he suddenly points at the guy and says, "You never respect systems." Systems? It was penny pasta. At this point, the third roommate wakes up because everybody is yelling. And the second he walks into the kitchen, he immediately goes, "Oh no," which is never a good sign, because apparently this was not the first pasta incident. Now the third roommate explains that Jason once got angry because somebody used his fork by accident. Another time, he counted the number of chicken nuggets left in the freezer. Counted them. This man was conducting inventory management in the kitchen. And honestly, that's already insane enough. But somehow, the story gets worse. The next morning, the guy wakes up and notices something weird. All his food is gone, not eaten, gone, like completely removed from the fridge. And in their place is a sticky note that says, "Actions have consequences." Bro, this is not a Batman movie. This is an apartment. So now everybody's arguing. The guy's mad because all his groceries disappeared. Jason's mad because of the pasta. The third roommate is just standing there looking exhausted because apparently this happens every few months. And then suddenly Jason says the craziest thing imaginable. He says, if people cannot respect the system voluntarily, then structure must be enforced. Why is he talking like a villain CEO? Apparently, this dude had created an actual spreadsheet ranking everybody's kitchen behavior. Like no joke, the guy posting the story uploaded screenshots. There were categories: cleanliness, food discipline, refrigerator reliability. BRO, what does that even mean? And apparently Jason gave himself a 9.8 out of 10. Of course he did. Now at this point, the comments online are already losing their minds. Because this no longer sounds like roommates. It sounds like a failed government experiment. But wait, we are not done yet. Because later that night, the guy discovers where all his groceries went. This man opens the hallway closet and finds his food organized into separate storage bins labeled Restricted Access. I am not joking. Jason literally confiscated the groceries like apartment police, and apparently when confronted about it, he calmly explained, "This is a temporary corrective measure. Brother, you are talking about yogurt." So naturally, the argument gets worse. Voices are raised, people are yelling, someone almost drops orange juice. Pure chaos. And then, the landlord arrives, because apparently neighbors complained about screaming at 2 in the morning over pasta. Which honestly sounds insane when you say it out loud. Now imagine trying to explain this situation to a landlord. Yes, hello sir, we are experiencing noodle-related conflict. But somehow the landlord already knew exactly who Jason was. The second he walked in, he apparently sighed and said, "Jason, not again." Not again? Which means this man had previous pasta lore. And according to the landlord, Jason had already argued with previous roommates over. Labeled ketchup frozen waffles, cheese slices, and unauthorized beverage consumption. This man had a history. At this point, I would simply move to another country. Anyway, eventually the landlord forces everybody to sit down and create kitchen rules. Actual official kitchen rules. Like elementary school. And apparently rule number 1 literally became unlabeled food is community food, which honestly should have existed from the start. Jason apparently argued against this for 20 straight minutes. 20. About pasta. Eventually everybody calms down, the groceries get returned, and the guy who posted the story says things stayed peaceful for about 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Because apparently after that, Jason started labeling ice cubes. Bro, I would have moved out immediately. Imagine opening your freezer and seeing property of Jason on water. That apartment genuinely sounds like a side quest in a video game. Morale of the story. If your roommate starts talking about systems and corrective measures over pasta, start looking for a new apartment immediately. Bro, I was fighting for my life on these maps and telling the story at the same time. So, if you enjoyed this chaos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more insane internet stories. And seriously, never trust a man who labels ice cubes.